What you mean you don't know Pana? She's dope. What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? What you mean?
What is poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl DOPEaxxPANA, and today I am doing a Bohemian feed and braid plus knotless box braid combo, and I also use a different brand of hair that I don't typically use, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. So just a bunch of different techniques in one video that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So I decided to do knotless in the back. Anytime somebody comes to me, I always recommend knotless just because I feel like it's less tension, they're lighter, everything is just better about them, so I always recommend that. So that's what I did for her. The hair that I'm using in this video today is Free, the Amazon 3x braiding hair. It's a pre-stretched braiding hair that is 54 inches, and this wasn't my first time using this hair, but I actually kind of like it. So I typically don't like to use Free hair. You guys know I'm like an Expressions baby. I love Expressions braiding hair, but lately I've just been trying different stuff just to kind of see like what my results for it are. And the thing that I like about this pre-stretched hair is that it's consistent, because you guys know I talked about the easy braid hair not being consistent, which is why I don't use it, but it's very consistent and it's long, so this will definitely hang like to the butt without having to stretch it anymore. The hair that I'm using on the ends and that I'm leaving throughout for the Bohemian look is the Caribbean brand. I think the curl pattern is called Water Wave, which is typically a little curlier than what I would do. So I am using synthetic hair for this look. I've talked about this before, that I do prefer to use human hair, but it's not in everybody's budget. So I'm using synthetic hair for this. The reason why I don't really like to use the crochet hair is because I feel like it gets tangled really quickly, and for styles like these that should last your client anywhere from a month to a month and a half, the synthetic hair just doesn't hold up. So typically the curlier the pattern, the more, like, the quicker it's gonna tangle. So this one really may not last her that long, but I definitely think it was cute for the look that we were going for. So whenever I'm doing a Bohemian type style, the first row I never put any curly hair on it just because it rests on the neck, and it's the same thing, like, you know how when you guys get a weave and it's like hella tangled, I don't want that to happen with the crochet hair right at the nape of the neck, so I just always leave that row empty. And then typically when I'm adding in my curly pieces, I'll add it in on every other braid until I get to the last two rows in the back. I'll add it on every single braid. But I just add it on every other braid in just random spots. And the way that I do that, if you guys just saw in that clip, is I take the crochet hair and I add it to the left side, and basically I add like the bottom half of it into the left side, and then I kind of like swing it around the top of their hair so it doesn't get braided in, and I just continue to braid. I feel like that's one of the easiest ways for me to add it in. I feel like with the Bohemian styles, like, the goal is to get that kind of like messy look, so you really don't have to add it in for every other piece. That just kind of helps me make sure that like my style is really symmetrical, so you can totally just like add it in randomly. I have done that before, and you can get a similar, if not the same, look. So for the ends, I like to add those in at the very end. So what I'll do is I'll braid everything including the front, and at the end of my braids I'm leaving ½ an inch unbraided. And if you guys go back to when I did the first row, you guys can kind of see how much of the bottom I'm not leaving braided, and that's because when I go back at the end, I'm gonna add in all those curly pieces for the end. I don't like to do that as I go because it just takes a little bit longer, and then me personally, I still like to dip the braids so that my client's hair is not stiff. And when I first started doing the Bohemian, I was like, oh, well, there's not a way that this can be dipped, so your braids are going to be stiff, but there is a way for you to dip it. It's definitely just like an extra step that's going to take more time and it's tedious, but if you really want to set yourself apart from other stylists, like, sometimes you kind of have to do those little things just to like make sure your client is 100% satisfied with their look. So the back of her hair is all done, and when I'm starting the front, I'm going to be parting down the middle because she is going to have a middle part for this. And I already completed the right side, so I'm just going to show you guys how I did the left side. She has a very simple design. It's kind of just like everything is pulling away from the middle, so nothing too complicated. I don't like to show both sides just because I typically do the same thing on each side, and I feel like once you see one, you don't really need to see the other. But this is actually the harder side for me, so I should start showing y'all the right, because the right side is always just easier for me. That's my dominant side. The left side, I have to like hold my body awkwardly, especially when I'm trying to record. But the style still turned out popping. And yeah. So altogether, this style took me 4 hours, and I feel like I could have gone quicker, but we started this at 10 o'clock. I didn't finish till 2 in the morning, y'all. Sometimes I'm literally dying while I'm styling. So yeah, and then also like if I'm not recording, obviously I can move a lot quicker, but I have to make sure I'm getting those angles when I record. So yeah, yeah, this style time took me 4 hours. For the hair, and all the products that I use, I'll make sure I list them in the description section. But for the hair, I used a total of 2 packs. I didn't use the full second pack. I used 2 bundles from the second pack. And then I used, how many packs? I used 1 pack of the Caribbean crochet hair. The edges, I didn't do anything too crazy. She definitely doesn't have like a ton of baby hairs, but I'm using this AdorUmor edge control to kind of just lay down what she does have. This was sent to me by a hairstylist off Instagram, and she's Black owned, so I just really wanted to show her support. I try to do it when I can, but like I can't do it for her everybody, obviously. Like I'm still running a business, but I wanted to share with you guys her product is bomb, and I've been using it for my clients. I've had it now for, I would say, like a couple months, so a little bit definitely goes a long way. I don't use it to braid or anything, but definitely for my edges. So My mousse today, you guys can see it on my counter. I'm using the Vigoross styling mousse, and I always set that with some type of hairspray. I believe for this video I use Spritz. So this is where I kind of go above as a stylist, and basically I'm picking out all of the curly hair that I left hanging down, and I'm gonna go ahead and dip my clients' braids. And like I said before, I used to not do this. I kind of just would braid the ends in and they would be a little stiff, and I would be like, okay, they'll survive. But you can take this extra step and make sure that their braids are like flowing. So basically what I do is I dip it and then I blow dry the ends so that they're dry, and then I'm gonna go back into every single braid. This is the most annoying part because it's super tedious, and I'm gonna add in those curly pieces of hair. Now to bond it, since I'm using synthetic hair, I'm just gonna take a lighter and I'm gonna burn it at the bottom, and then after I put the mousse on at the end, I can cut off any straight pieces that are left. So like I said, this is definitely a super tedious part. This hairstyle in general is tedious. Like I don't like doing any type of bohemian styles, but they always turn out so bomb, so everybody loves to book them. But I mean, I charge what I want for these, so it's definitely worth my time. But ooh, baby, I just be so over it when it gets to this part. So once I've done that, I'm gonna take down all the curly hair. I take off my styling strips, and I'm gonna go ahead and mousse everything down. And this is the time that I take to kind of finger detangle, get any type of knots out of the crochet hair. I always recommend my clients purchase some mousse, and if their hair does get tangled or like just super big, they can run the mousse through it. And then I'm gonna go through and cut off any straight pieces of hair. You don't really need to do it for every single braid because I feel like most of it blends in pretty well, but I definitely go through and get those visible pieces that are hanging down. So yes guys, this here is my finished look. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial and learned something from this tutorial. And if you have, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. I'm super excited to still be sharing content with you guys. I do get challenged sometimes with what I want to bring next and what you guys want to see. So make sure you guys leave suggestions in my comment section. Yeah, so that's a wrap for this video guys, and I will catch you guys in my next video.
What you mean you don't know Pana? She's dope. What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? What you mean?